Hello learners, welcome to this session. In this session, we will discuss a topic on input devices, which is the part of Computer Basics and PC software for the code BEY020 for SOET BSc course, BCS-011 and BCS-111 for BCS students. In this particular session, let us define the input devices, explain the functions of common input devices, differentiate types of input devices, and then explore use cases and latest advancements. And lastly, we will see how to connect these input devices using various ports and other things. So what are input devices? So for every computation, it requires data. So data needs to be fed into the computer. For that particular purpose, there should be a device available for each and every requirement. Like suppose it may be a text requirement, it may be a voice requirement, whatever the case may be. So data should be fed into and then it should be processed using the processor. So these are all hardware devices which are used to send data to the computer, and these allow users to interact with and control to the system. And these are very much essential for the computing operations. Without the input device of any form, may it be a keyboard, mouse, whatever the case may be, without the input given from the input device, there may not be any computing operations happening with the system. So there are several kinds of input devices. Very old devices were there, which are very much traditional in nature. Those also we are using currently. And then there are very new input devices appearing in the market. And we will discuss in this particular session one by one. And these particular input devices can be characterized or else can be classified into various input devices based upon the input type, whether it is a text or whether it is voice or whether it is any kind of gesture, whatever the case may be. Those are based, one classification is based on input type. The other classification is based on the mode of operation. Third classification, you can do it using image and scanning devices. Fourth one is biometric input devices. And fifth one is sensor based input devices. So in this particular session, we will go one by one and see what all devices are available in each and every category. First, we take the based on input type. So based on input type, it may be text that we can feed into, or it may be some sort of click or any action that may be happening, or else it may be any kind of audio input also. So for the text input devices, we have keyboards, virtual keyboard. For the pointing, the input devices are mouse, trackball, touchpad. For the touchpad, you can visualize that a laptop, whenever you want to give, instead of a mouse, we will be operating the whole laptop using the trackpad. So it is a simple rectangular bit which is there on the laptop, functioning just like a mouse operation. And then for the audio input, we have the microphone or else a kind of voice recognition systems. Those are available currently. So based upon the mode of operation, these are being classified into either manual or else automatic. So manual, you can have the keyboard, mouse, joysticks and other kinds of things, wherein which one needs to use the hand and we have to use the click, or else in the joysticks we may be rotating, revolving or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to the automatic input devices, there may be some sort of readers. Like one may be the barcode reader, wherein which we use these particular barcode readers in supermarkets or else in any bookshops, etc. in order to scan the barcodes. Those are available on the articles. So directly the input without any manual interventions, it will be scanned and then the input will be fed on to the system. And then there are certain other input devices which function automatically, and those are optical mark reader and then MICR reader. All these things will be learning one by one. Image and scanning devices, there are three. One is scanner, digital camera and web camera. Coming to the biometric, there are input devices just like fingerprint scanner. Everybody has the experience of giving the details in Aadhaar card. So there, in order to take the biometrics or else the thumb impressions and other things, the person whoever sits before, he will be having a device connected, and where he'll ask you to put the finger or else fingers onto that particular device. That is called as the fingerprint scanner, wherein which the complete thumb impression as it is will be is being scanned and is being fed into the system or else stored into the system in the form of a image. And then there are certain iris systems called as the retina scanner systems, wherein which your retina will be acting as a biometric password. So whenever there is an attendance management system in offices, nowadays people are using the face recognition systems or else the retina scanner systems. So these particular input devices comes under the automatic, and that too they are called as the biometric input devices. There are other category called as the sensor based input devices, like the touch screen. These particular touch screens nowadays we can find it in laptops also. Earlier it was the only functionality that we used to have it on the like on the mobiles or else on the tabs. But currently when you take the high end laptops, there you will get the touch screen as the facility, and along with that touch screen there will be a keyboard also, or else sometimes it will come up with the virtual keyboards. And the light pen is one particular device wherein which you can write with the, we can write or else we can send directly the handwritten things in that, those can be stored into the computer. And that is a kind of input device wherein which freehand can be used, and it is just like a pencil or a pen that will be using, and the complete picture or the drawing or else whatever the case may be, that will be storing into the system, or that will be fed into the system as the input. And there are one particular device called as the motion sensor, and mostly these are used for the gaming purposes. So this is the complete picture you can see. The input devices, what we had seen, the complete classifications you can see based on the input type, based on the sensors, based on the mode of operation, image scanning devices, biometric input devices, and other kinds of things. One by one we will see, based on the input type, the first thing that comes into our mind is the mouse or else the keyboard. So this particular mouse is a pointing device wherein which it prompts the user to click on something, some reference link, or else you can point that particular device against some text box, and then you start typing. It will be taken that label, it will be taken as a input. So the touchpad on a laptop, as I told you, serves as the same purpose of a mouse. Suppose if you don't have the mouse, obviously on the laptop we use the touchpads, and the same functionality whatever we have using the mouse, the same is applicable in the touchpad also. So coming to the keyboard, it is very traditional thing, and right from whenever we were working with the computers, right from the first generation, this particular keyboard is the primary source in order to input to the system. So keyboard, as you can see, it is used for text or else for the commands. Those can be given as the input to the system. And there are several kinds of layouts. The very popular layout that the keyboards will be having is the QWERTY keyboard, or else there are certain keyboards which supports AZERTY type. So there are two types of keyboards you can see, and most popular and familiar keyboards are the QWERTY keyboards. And in that particular keyboards, along with the alphabets, along with the numerical characters, just like a buttons that we have on the keyboard, we can have the functional keys also, like Control, Alter, or else we can have the functional keys like F1 to F12. So those are all meant for special things or special functions which can be done. So types of keyboards, we have several types of keyboards as you can see on the slide. The flexible keyboard is there. For gaming purposes, there are special kind of keyboards which are available currently in the market. Wireless keyboards are there, wherein which no need to put it onto the USB port. However, they can be connected via wireless. And then multimedia keyboard is there, hand keyboard is there, mechanical keyboard, ergonomic keyboard, virtual keyboard, wherein which most of the applications, when we open the bank website or any other website, you may be finding instead of working with these particular things, suppose if you are having if you don't have the physical keyboard on your laptop, and then that particular virtual keyboard can be opened, and you can press one by one each character, and the password or the login name can be fed into, and it will take it as the input. So laptop keyboard, as you can see, it will be having a limited features when you compare with the standard keyboards. And these are the types of keyboards, those are available present in the market, which are very traditional in nature in order to provide input to the computers. Then comes the very traditional thing, that is the microphone. Suppose if you want to give voice as the input, so it allows us to, this particular microphone allows us to feed both pre-recorded or else a live audio. If you want to give the live audio is also possible, and if you want to feed in the pre-recorded, that is also possible. This particular device transfers the acoustic energy from an audible source into an electrical signal for playback through an amplification system. This mic's primary advantage lies in its size, because it is very low in price and high responsible sensitivity. Some of the mics comes along with the systems, and some mics we have to buy it as the external component or else an accessory, and then we can connect to the system just like we do it in the case of a traditional keyboard, as a mouse, using the USB port. Then there is another traditional input device, that is the trackball. This particular trackball is an alternative computer input device that functions similarly to a mouse, and you can see a particular trackball that is placed on the slide. This is the picture of the trackball, and then the second thing, whatever that you are watching is the latest kind of trackball. Those are available, and which does the dual function. So here, once a trackball is bought, here in the second type, in the second category, you can use them as the mouse, as well as you can use them as the trackballs. So this particular normal handling position involves your thumb being on the ball and the other fingers on its buttons. So you can operate just like the whatever you the way you operate on the mouse, the same way you have to operate the trackballs also. And these particular trackballs, you may be wondering that most of the game software, either the joystick may be used, or else some of the games they will use these particular trackballs, and you can play on the computer. Next device is the game controllers and the joysticks. This is a joystick kind of input device. These are specialized for gaming and simulations, and whenever there are certain simulation experiments, those are put on website or else put on to the portals. Those particular simulations can be controlled using these particular joysticks. Otherwise, whenever you are playing a game on the computer, just like a car game or else whatever the game that you are playing, these particular joysticks are very much helpful. Instead of a mouse, you can use these particular joysticks, and it consists of a stick kind of thing, and on that particular stick there the controls are available. Otherwise, you can see there are several controls just like in the form of buttons available on the down part, and this particular haptic feedback, motion sensors, all these things will be using this particular joystick. And the next category is the touchscreen interfaces. So mostly in the earlier stages, only the mobile phones were coming up with this touchscreen facility. However, currently the tabs and then the laptops of high-end, these combines a kind of touch facility as well as the keyboard facility, and this particular thing combines the input as well as the output. So there are two types of touch screens. One is the capacitive touch screen, and the second one is the resistive touch screen. And these are generally used in the smartphones. However, these can be used whenever the system is placed in a kiosk. Then those particular systems can be operated easily using the touch screen. For an example, I can give you an ATM. ATM is nothing but it is operated on a computer. It is just like a computer which is placed inside, and then there you don't find the keyboard kind of thing. However, you find as this is a kiosk kind of thing, you find the touchscreen facility, or else a small 4+4 button facility, wherein which the input the user will be using those particular 8 buttons, or else he'll be using the simple numeric keyboard, and else other things he will be doing it using the interfaces only, touchscreen interface only. There is another input device called as the light pen. So suppose if some freehand drawing needs to be given as the input to the system. So those particular freehand drawing can't be done using any of the buttons that those are available on the keyboard, or else using the mouse. So there is a special device called as the light pen, and this is computer input device that looks like a pen and is used to draw or select objects directly. So earlier this particular thing was used along with the CRT monitors. Currently there is another kind of same light pen is in a different version it is available, that is called as the stylus. Even these particular stylus in most of the mobile phones, of high-end mobile phones, those particular phones come along with the stylus. And they may be having the virtual keyboard. However, this particular stylus also will be made available, and it is just like a pen-shaped input device used to write, draw, or interact with the touch sensitive screens. And these particular stylus, mostly the designers or else the artists, these are the people who show very much interest in order to do the freehand drawings, or else in order to use, write, or in order to take the running notes. These particular stylus are being used and are being stored onto the system. There is another device which is very much helpful for capturing the physical movement and converts it into a digital signal, and that particular input device is called as the motion sensor. So this particular motion sensor is nothing but it can give the signals to the computer, which can be interaction, control, or else the automation. For examples, there are certain motion sensor equipments called as the accelerometers, the gyroscopes, the infrared devices, ultrasonic devices, optical motion sensors like MS Connect. You can see on the right side whatever that is being placed on the slide is the MS Connect, which records the motion sensor physical movement and converts it into the digital signals. And there are radar-based sensors also, which captures the continuously the kind of motion into the system. Coming to the image and scanning devices, there is one particular device called as the scanner, and this particular input device captures the images, text, or else objects from physical sources. Most of us nowadays we are using an app to scan the things which is placed on our mobile. However, there are physical devices which is placed here on the right side, which is called as the scanner. This is just like a simple photocopy machine kind of thing, wherein which we place the document inside, and then there will be an application program wherein which we open the application program and we record the whole image into the form of a picture, and we store it in the digital format. There are flatbed scanners, handheld scanners, sheet-fed scanners, or else there are 3D scanners available in the market. So most of you know the cameras and webcams, and these are also used for the input the visual data. And most of us we use these for the video calls. When you take the case of the laptop, or else when you take the case of the mobile phone, automatically these cameras are inbuilt. But when you take the case of a desktop system, these particular things are available in the form of a physical accessory, and these particular things can be bought and can be attached to the computer system using the USB port. And nowadays some systems which are all-in-one systems, they are coming along with the cameras built in. So those are also very much helpful for the users. And these particular cameras and webcams, these are some of the cameras and webcams are also used for the face recognition kind of thing. When you visit an airport, suppose if you are using the DigiYatra app, you upload your the boarding ticket, and then this particular application allows you, whenever you steps into that particular security device, near to that particular security device, it recognizes your face, and it will verify along with your Aadhaar card details. Those are being provided and were stored inside. So those particular things will be recognized, checked against, and then you will be getting the permission to step in. So these are very much helpful in the security purposes, or else in the conference calls purposes. So there are variety of readers nowadays available. No need of using the mechanical kind of things. Automatically, if you scan something, some picture or else some pattern, automatically that records into the system. Under these particular devices, one device we can talk about is the OMR. So most of the students, learners, we appear for the entrance examinations, and there the OMR sheets are being given, wherein which the students needs to bubble or else darken the oval, so that those particular ovals are being recognized using a kind of OMR reader, optical mark reader. So those particular things are being scanned and ultimately the result is being displayed. So this particular thing works by detecting the presence or absence of that particular marks. So whatever the vowel that you are putting in, either in the form of a vowel or square, those particular things will be identified by the reader and it will be marking accordingly. And the other thing, you find this particular MICR reader inside the banks. So most of the checks, suppose if you are giving a check, so this particular MICR reader is a specialized device used to read and process information printed on the magnetic thing, typically found at the bottom of the checks. So those particular things will be recorded, the number or else the whatever the marks, those are meant for MICR reader, those will be scanned and recorded into the system. You can see on the right side, this is a device that is available online. I had taken the photograph from the online means. So MICR readers looks like this, and they'll be placing the check as it is placed over there on the right side, and then they'll be scanning on the lower bottom corner. The whole the information is stored in the magnetic ink. That particular thing will be scanned into the system. And then nowadays the entry to any shows or entry to any particular movie theater or multiplex movie theaters, the QR code readers are being available. So no need of putting the whole details or printing the whole ticket. However, they are sending when you book the ticket using Book My Show or else any other app, automatically you will be given the QR code, not the complete details. However, they will be providing you the QR code. And once the QR code is there, you show it in the, whenever you are making an entry, you show that particular QR code to the system. And there are certain scanners over there available called as the barcodes reader for the books and other kinds of things, or else the 2D kind of thing. And for the image kind of thing, the pattern kind of thing called as the quick response kind of thing, the QR code readers are available like at the entry points. You just scan those particular QR code information so that you will get the entry. So these are also work as the automatic kind of devices, input devices, wherein which no need of any manual thing happening. However, just show the code and then you can make the entries. And there are biometric input devices. We had talked about several devices in the earlier also. The fingerprints, the fingerprint scanner looks like this, the similar scanner, and then the iris scanners for the retina recognition and other kinds of things. You can see this is the retina device that is placed, and this is called as the iris device. And for the face recognition, in most of the attendants nowadays in any corporate offices, this is not just a manual kind of thing wherein which you'll putting the signature and other kinds of things. However, in these face recognition systems are placed at the entry points, and then automatically whenever you see to that particular face recognition device, automatically the attendance is being marked. And coming to the emerging technologies, there are certain gesture control devices. These are the input devices. Those are appearing in the market like the Kinect and other kinds of things. And then brain-computer interface devices are there, so that those devices automatically reads the signals of those are being passed in the brain. And then virtual reality input devices, like many people there, when the virtual reality application, they work with the virtual reality applications. Obviously, they put the gloves and they put the trackers. So you can see these are called as the trackers that the person whoever is wearing here, these are called as the trackers. You can see just like a bangles. And then this is the glow that I am talking about, wherein which automatically depending upon the sense, depending upon the movement of the fingers and other kinds of things, you can visualize the happenings in the VR application. So currently there are some voice recognition systems are also available. Those are called as the Alexa, Siri Assistant and the Cortana. So these are the voice recognition systems wherein which these are meant for recognizing the voice as the input. So in the TVs also, when you buy a TV which is Android TV, then there also you'll get a kind of application called as voice recognition application. No need of giving the signals through your remote control. However, through this particular voice recognition system, you can just press on that particular button and then you can pass on the voice as the input, so that it will take that particular voice as the input and does the obviously the command that you are intending to do. So comparing the input devices here, you can take the keyboard. This comes under manual device, wherein which you have to physically type and you have to physically give the inputs. And there are certain devices wherein which some are virtual in nature, for the typing and coding. And then scanners are available, automatic archiving documents, touchscreen. Touchscreen is both manual as well as the virtual. And then microphone, this comes under manual kind of thing, wherein which you have to connect it to the system. And biometric, this comes under automatic, and the use case that we can do it give here is the authentication kind of thing. So in this particular session, let us recap what we had studied. We had studied the complete classification of the input devices based upon various categories. So all those particular categories we had studied, and towards the end we had compared all the input devices and what all the use cases those are available under the devices that we had studied in this session. With this, I'll complete this session. In the next session, let us concentrate on the output devices. Along with that, I will also present you how these particular input devices or the output devices are being connected to the system. What all are the requirements whenever we want to connect the input devices or the output devices to the systems. With this, I conclude the session. Thanks for watching.
Hello learners, here's a good news